by taking and moving down to active sellers and target accounts, we can put a new channel ops math equation in place. And this channel ops math equation allows the channel leader now to measure and manage that execution gap. So this literally sits right in the middle of that gap and provides the visibility to what the partner sellers are actually doing. And so, as I talked about a minute ago, the 2x revenue growth, if we're measuring number of active sellers, and up here we've got 40 active sellers on the screen, and those active sellers are covering 160 accounts, to the right of that is the actual math equation. We have, if I've got 160 accounts and we generated 35 meetings, that's a 22% engagement rate. If 30% of those meetings converted to a quoted opportunity at 150K, that's 1.57 million that we've put in top of the funnel. And then of course, at that point, it moves into the co-sell side of this equation and whatever your close rates are on those deals. But we can show the attribution of generating 1.57 million through our strategy execution. So when I talk about doubling the revenue, Brent, if I double the number of active sellers from 40 to 80, and I double the number of accounts from 160 to 320, and my math equation holds true, I've just doubled my funnel. I've doubled the potential revenue. So this is, everything that we do in our MP3 model comes back to this equation and comes back to this as sort of the foundation for what we do and the tools that we build. So
yeah, so I'd call out a couple of things that I think are really important here. I mean, first off, anybody that's been in sales, you've heard the science of sales, right? So this is the math equation of the channel, and changing our metrics from, measuring a partner at an organizational level to focusing on the actual active sellers, and then having a prescriptive approach with those active sellers on who are we going to go target by name, and scoring those target prospects and scoring the partner and the partner contacts and their contacts within the target prospects. So it's a very, very prescriptive approach on the front end. And guess what? If you have large partner organizations, 40 active sellers could be a small number. So you may not need to go to a second, third, fourth partner organization to double or triple the number of active sellers that you have on your sales motions. If you deal with smaller partners, maybe you got to go to another organization, but it's typically a shorter amount of effort to increase the number of active sellers inside the partner organizations versus what you said, which is, hey, I got to go recruit 5 more partner organizations, and I got to get them through contracts, and I got to get them enabled and get somebody certified, and I got to get them started to ramp up and paying attention. And at best, if I'm lucky, 6 months plus in seeing some sort of productivity. But if I'm focused seller to seller inside the partner organization, I can turn that conversation around in a much, much shorter time frame, and I can get some real traction. And oh, by the way, I can see it, and I can measure it, and I can do performance management against that from a KPI perspective. And it's very simple. And I know we're probably going to go through some of the metrics of the methodology, but how many emails, how many phone calls, who did we talk to, when did we talk to them? Now we have good visibility, and we have a great way to measure the actual activity that's in front of generating an opportunity that shows up in deal reg and funnel and all that good stuff we'll do on the back half of that equation.
Yeah, and if you're a partner leader, if you're a channel account manager, if you had a dashboard by partner, by channel account manager, by sales play that you were running that showed these metrics across the board, this becomes actionable data that is so much closer to the deal flow than partner level metrics. So nothing wrong with partner level metrics, but the data from the partner level metrics can be up to 3 months old for POS, forecast data, whatever else. When I start getting into weekly, cadence of collecting data and measuring that data in this format, this gives me things that nobody else can do. So when one of the tools we'll show briefly does trending analysis on number of active sellers. So I can tell you what my revenue is going to look like going up or down because I'm trending on that. And the same thing with account coverage. I'm trending on account coverage. So what's happening? Last quarter we had 160 accounts we were prospecting in. This quarter I've only got 120. What's going on? I'm going to put a KPI in place to go solve that problem. Or maybe my engagement rate is really low. It could be really high. What's happening for in that engagement rate, what messaging that I'm putting out is resonating, what's the target audience that's resonating with, how do I double down on that? So the
Yeah.
idea is that every one of these metrics gives me an inspection point that I can go back with my partner, with my CAM, with my sales play, and make changes as we go to be more effective in what we do. So this channel ops math is really where I think the channel is going, whether it's this equation or something like this becomes really super targeted, super actionable, and it gives you a way to manage the channel. Last thing I'll say on this before we move over is think about this from a channel management perspective. We're always going out to our to our partner account managers and saying, hey, how many partners are you working with, and what's happening at the partner level? But what if their job became to turn up 40 active sellers? If that became their job, and we were measuring on number of active sellers per quarter, uh, this is how you would drive that revenue, and you would drive it in a much more effective way.